Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I know what I should do, so why is it so hard to actually do it? If you have, then you're not alone. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence. They don't fail because they don't have enough motivation. They fail because they misunderstand how change really works. That is the central message of Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book isn't about making huge changes overnight. It's about understanding that the smallest actions repeated consistently can completely transform your life. James Clear calls these tiny actions atomic habits. Like atoms, they are incredibly small, but they are also the building blocks of something much greater. Think about this for a moment. If you improve by just 1% every day, the difference doesn't seem noticeable today. It doesn't seem noticeable tomorrow either. But over weeks, months, and years, those tiny improvements begin to compound. They multiply. Eventually, they produce results that seem extraordinary, even though they came from ordinary actions. The opposite is also true. Small bad habits rarely destroy your life overnight. Skipping one workout won't ruin your health. Spending a little too much money today won't make you bankrupt. Procrastinating once won't end your career, but repeated hundreds of times, that's when the cost becomes enormous. Our lives are often the sum of our habits rather than the result of our biggest decisions. Many of us wait for inspiration before taking action. We tell ourselves, I'll start exercising when I feel motivated. I'll write that book when inspiration comes. I'll save money when my income increases. James Clear turns that thinking upside down. Action creates motivation more often than motivation creates action. When you begin, even in the smallest way, your brain starts believing you're becoming that kind of person. And that brings us to one of the most powerful ideas in the book. Don't focus only on goals, focus on identity. Instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, ask yourself, what kind of person runs marathons? Instead of saying, I want to read more books, ask, what kind of person reads every day? Instead of saying, I want to lose weight, ask, what kind of person consistently takes care of their body? Every habit is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. One workout doesn't make you an athlete. One healthy meal doesn't make you healthy. One chapter doesn't make you a lifelong reader, but each one casts another vote. Eventually, those votes become your identity. And once you begin seeing yourself differently, your actions naturally begin to follow. Another important lesson from Atomic Habits is that our environment often matters more than our willpower. Most people believe successful people simply have stronger self control. But James Clear suggests something different. Highly successful people don't constantly resist temptation. Instead, they design their environment so that good habits become easier and bad habits become harder. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely only on discipline. Put healthy food where you can easily see it. Hide the junk food. If you want to read more books, leave one on your bedside table. If you want to practice guitar, keep it on a stand instead of locked away in a closet. Your environment silently shapes your decisions every single day. We often overestimate our determination and underestimate the power of what's around us. The book also introduces what James Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. First, make it obvious. If you want a new habit, create clear cues that remind you to do it. Second, make it attractive. Pair the habit with something enjoyable whenever possible. Third, make it easy. Don't try to read 50 pages on your first day. Read 1 page. Don't promise yourself you'll exercise for 2 hours. Start with 5 minutes. Success often belongs to those who reduce friction rather than increase effort. And finally, make it satisfying. Our brains repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. Celebrate small wins. Track your progress. Notice your consistency. Small victories encourage future victories. One of my favorite ideas in the book is the 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, make it take less than 2 minutes. Want to become a reader? Read 1 page. Want to meditate? Sit quietly for 2 minutes. Want to exercise? Put on your workout clothes. It sounds almost too easy, but that's exactly the point. The goal isn't to master the habit immediately. The goal is to become the kind of person who shows up. Consistency matters more than intensity. Many people burn brightly for a week. Few people stay consistent for years. And those who stay consistent almost always outperform those who rely on occasional bursts of motivation. Another lesson worth remembering is that habits are a double-edged sword. Good habits compound in your favor. Bad habits compound against you. The challenge is that both are nearly invisible in the beginning. When you save a little money today, you don't feel richer. When you skip one workout, you don't feel weaker. When you write one page, you don't suddenly become an author. That's why many people quit too early. They don't see immediate results. James Clear describes this as the valley of disappointment. You work hard, nothing seems to happen. You wonder whether your effort is worth it. But beneath the surface, progress is accumulating. Like ice warming from 25 degrees to 31 degrees, nothing appears to change. Then suddenly at 32 degrees, the ice melts. The transformation looks instant, but it wasn't. It was the result of many invisible improvements that came before it. Life often works the same way. Success is rarely sudden. It's usually hidden beneath months or years of consistent effort. This idea should encourage every person who's trying to improve. Don't judge today's effort by today's results. Judge it by the direction it's taking your life. Ask yourself, am I becoming slightly better than yesterday? Am I building habits that my future self will thank me for? Because your future isn't determined by one giant decision. It's shaped by thousands of tiny choices made every single day. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you improve just a little every day. Imagine your health, your finances, your relationships, your career, your confidence, not because of one dramatic breakthrough, but because of hundreds of small actions that quietly accumulated over time. That's the real power of atomic habits. It gives us hope, not because change is easy, but because change doesn't have to be enormous. You don't have to transform your whole life today. You only have to make one better choice, then another tomorrow, and another the next day. James Clear reminds us that every action you take is shaping the person you're becoming. So choose habits that build the future you want. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until January. Don't wait until you feel perfectly motivated. Start with one tiny action, one page, one push up, $1 saved, one kind word, one moment of discipline, one better decision. Because the life you've been dreaming about may not be built through giant leaps. It may be built through thousands of tiny steps repeated with patience, consistency, and intention. And someday, when people look at your success, they'll think it happened all at once. Only you will know the truth. It started with one small habit.